Salutations and hello, all you fellow rogues, travelers, and free spirits. Gerardo stands the name. You have reached a wash of static. Today we're going to go ahead and do my favorite subreddit of all time. Am I the a-hole? Got the cat. Got the drink. Let's go looking for anomalies. A-holes.
Thank you. You're all lovely. Thank you very much.
Hail the Jack Zero Brotherhood. Am I the asshole for telling my parents to forget the Hallmark movies and move into the real world? Whew, I've got a word for this, and it's... My parents have been pressuring my wife for a while now to reach out to her older half-siblings to establish a relationship. My wife, 27 female, was an affair baby. Her half-siblings share the same mother as her, but are aware of her status as the child from the affair. She was 7 the last time she saw them, but she remembers very clearly they did not like her or accept her. She knows this hasn't changed because they maintain contact with extended family while also not attending anything she might be attending. My wife's parents were married, but it became a toxic marriage based on cheating, and she's no contact with them as a result. Okay, if I read that correctly, the people having the affair did eventually get married and didn't work out. Got it. My wife is pregnant with our first child. Congratulations. And this trouble with my parents started when my wife admitted to wishing things could have been different for her and her siblings. My parents told her that she should reach out because she never knows how they'd respond. She told them she did know because they continued to keep their distance and not be around her, that she accepted it and would not push or risk a very vitriol-filled rejection from them. But that she appreciated they, my parents, wanted that they wanted the best for her. My parents told her she shouldn't be so quick to dismiss the idea, and they have brought it up roughly a dozen times since. Ay, ay, ay. I have told them to stop and reminded them that this is my wife's decision alone and she should not be backed into a corner by them. Good on you, husband, good on you. The last time was Friday night. My wife grew frustrated by the mention again, and I told my wife we should leave because clearly this wasn't the right place for us to be at that moment. My parents said we didn't need to leave and they were trying to support my wife. I told them to forget the Hallmark movies and come into the real world where not everyone is desperately waiting to be reunited with family, where people can hold on to resentment and hate for decades and lifetimes, where people refusing to attend an event that another person might be at should be taken at face value and seen as a boundary instead of being treated like a cry for the other person to reach out. I told them it's not destined for a happily ever after when ignore clear signs and reach out anyway. And to clarify, my parents are huge Hallmark fans. I'm feeling something of a way about this. My own thought is, I absolutely think that you were in the right as far as defending your wife and in agreement that not all of life is, for lack of a better term, rainbows and sugar cookies, which personally I can't stand those. The official verdict on this one seems to be not the a-hole. Here's more. It's curious that people who only want to help and support my pregnant wife, air quotes, are so keen to push her into a relationship with people who have never helped, supported, or loved her in her life. They're old enough to know movies with the emotional maturity of a teenager aren't a mirror of life. Not the a-hole. And normally I wouldn't go into a third reply, but due to time considerations, video, you know the deal, editing. However, this one is amusing, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Not the a-hole. This would really grind my nuts, if I had any. I had a significant other who insisted that I repair a relationship with my dad who had stopped talking to me when I got a divorce because you will regret this. Someday he'll die and you will not be able to repair the damage, etc. Oy vey. I eventually caved, though, and I tried a couple times to go visit him, but he simply ignored that I existed, flat out turned his back on me and walked away, etc. Replier number 3, terribly sorry to hear about that. But why do your parents want to put your wife in the position of having to go through that hurt all over again? If they wanted contact, they could initiate it. Really, your parents should butt out. And I think that's kind of the sum of it right there. Am I the a-hole for inviting my nephew to my wedding despite his estrangement from my brother? Oh. I, 33 male, am marrying my fiance, 37 male, this winter. First of all, congratulations. We're putting together the guest list to send the invitations out and have run into an issue over my nephew and my brother. My brother, 38 male, was 18 when his girlfriend told him she was pregnant. They ended up moving in together and my brother decided to go find work as a mechanic rather than go to college, as he had planned. So far I'm not seeing the correlation here. My nephew was born a little while later. They got married when she told him she was pregnant with their second kid, who is now 15 female, and then had 2 more, both 10 male. Probably twins. Ever since my nephew was born, he's been literally one of my favorite people. I babysat him plenty of times, same with my other nibblings, and have spent my 20s as their uncle. My brother and me were close as kids, and I've been close with his kids as well. Delightful. Perfect. Lovely. 5 years ago, my brother found out my nephew wasn't his, and his now ex-wife had been sleeping with someone else at the time. And had suspected my oldest nephew wasn't my brother since he was a little kid. They ended up getting divorced, and my brother didn't seek custody of my oldest nephew and said he didn't want to see him. Oh, man. He told me that he needed time to process and would try to patch things up later. That idea was kind of ruined when my nephew turned up at my brother's apartment begging to talk. It turned into an argument between them, as one might expect. For context, our father had just passed a couple of months earlier. During the argument, my nephew had said something along the lines of, "No wonder mom fucked somebody else. I bet grandpa hated you." Cringy, but this sounds very... okay, it's like 14 at that point? Sounds very like mid-teen thing to say when you want to hurt somebody as bad as what you can. My brother cut things off then and there and has refused to see my nephew since. I stepped in as the main male figure in my nephew's life, much as I dislike my ex-sister-in-law. I even took him out for his 18th birthday and took him looking at universities, and he now goes to my alma mater. Hey, alright. It's good that he had someone to fall back on, like during this unfortunate event. I asked my brother how he wants to handle the seating situation if they don't want to be close together. My brother was angry I'd even invite my nephew after everything that happened. He said it'd be like inviting my ex-sister-in-law. He's not family, he's just the prick who disrespected our dad. I said he's been petty and childish, taking the words of a scared and angry 14-year-old. Okay, I got the math right. 14-year-old so personally. He was a kid who had said something shitty because his entire world was falling apart, and the person he relied on for his whole life was suddenly pulling away, and instead of being understanding and doing family therapy or something like a grown-up, my brother decided to give adult weight to a teenager's words and cut him off completely. My nephew said he's okay with not going if it's causing an issue, but I told him not to be ridiculous. He's important to me and I want him there for when I marry my person. I told him he shouldn't let my brother's inability to let go be his problem. My fiancé agrees with me. My mom and sister both say I need to see it from my brother's perspective. I think he's just being petty. Am I the a-hole? Okay, Uncle. First and foremost, you are not the a-hole. I can't really say the same about your brother. Your brother, I understand, got a real shock to the system by finding out that his kid, who he always imagined that was biologically his, found out that there was a very real possibility that there wasn't, and uses that as a reason to back off the kid's life. That, no matter whose kid, this could be Genghis Khan's kid. He took the burden and the responsibility and the privilege of being this kid's dad for 14 years of his life. Raised him from a baby to almost a man. and then just decided like he's gonna back off like because the child may not be his. There is such a thing as nurture overcoming nature. That's probably the wrong way to put it, but what I'm saying is, for 14 years he took that and decided to go ahead and make this person into a man, into a productive member of society, yada yada, yakety schmackety. And now he wants to renege on that because of something that's biologically inconvenient. Not only is it emotionally incorrect, it's cowardice. Now, to your credit, you stepped up and became the parental male figure that this kid desperately needed when his whole world was falling down like a house of cards. Good on you, and you are absolutely not the a-hole for wanting him at your wedding when you marry your significant other. He should be there. He sounds like a really, really good kid. He sounds like somebody that has had a rough set of cards thrust at him, which can happen, and I think it's to your nephew's credit that he's offering to bow out of the wedding entirely just so that there won't be any inconvenience between family members. But he has more of a right to be there than what your brother does, in my honest feeling. And I also wonder, did your brother even thank you for picking up the slack for this kid? I don't know. It's a tricky situation, and I can't say that I have the answers. I do know that if I had a badge on this, or if I had a thought, I'd say, NTA, not the asshole for you. Bona fide the asshole for your brother. And NTA for the nephew. There's just no other way. And I hope that by now this wedding has probably taken place, but I sincerely hope that nephew is there. He deserves to be. Well, it seems I've stumbled on a Am I the A-hole where I get some agreement. Here's one reply. There's a bunch of them. This one got a lot of replies, but not the A-hole by a mile. You're absolutely right to stand by your nephew and include him in your wedding. Your nephew is clearly an important part of your life, and you've stepped up to be there for him when his world fell apart. He needs that stability and love now more than ever, especially after being rejected by the person he thought was his father for most of his life. Your support likely means the world to him, and excluding him from your wedding to placate your brother's grudge would only add to the pain and rejection he's already experienced. Much more eloquently than I just put. I think for the rest of this episode, we're going to go ahead and concentrate on slightly less lengthy Am I the A-holes, just because, my goodness, I seem to find the ones that are complicated balls of wax to go ahead and try to unwind. She does this all the time, folks. That RBF is forever. Am I the asshole for not telling my neighbors my religion/sexuality? I'm going to summarily say no, but let's read on. Hi there. So for a bit of backstory, I have 4 kids, 2 from myself, 2 from my partner, both female, and my 2 older children made a friend with a kid down the street. He's been coming over for about a week, and he'll spend hours at my house at a time. I don't have a problem with this. He's a very nice kid, and I don't mind taking another kid to the park. I'm also a stay-at-home mom. Well, yesterday I finally met his mother, and I knew the kid was Mormon, but I personally don't raise my children in religion, even though I identify as a theistic Satanist. Theistic Satanist. Well, his mom saw my Baphomet necklace. Baphomet necklace. I love it. Which honestly my best friend gave me when we were kids, and I still just wear it regularly. Well, she practically blew up on me, telling me I'm sending my own kids and her child to hell, and that I was obviously planning this because I didn't tell her. And then I dropped the fact that I'm also in a homosexual relationship, and maybe she should check where her kids are instead of having random people from the neighborhood watch her children while she's at work. Anyways, am I the a-hole? Because personally, I don't feel like she's entitled to my information if she doesn't want to have a relationship with me. Also, I feel bad because he was a good kid, and I'm worried he's not eating when he's not over at my house, and I feel bad that I'm the person that ruined the relationship between our children. A little bit to unpack here, but I'm going to go ahead and say, fundamentally speaking, no one's entitled to that information of like who you sleep with, or who you choose to like, or who you choose to worship. Whether it's Satan, the garbage man, or Jesus Christ, or Buddha, whatever. Like that stuff is like entirely your own relationship with the powers that be. What I would kind of wonder about is that you're kind of touching on perhaps deeper seated problems here, and they're saying that you're worried that he's not eating when he's not over at your house. I mean, do you suspect abuse going on? This cat cannot stay away from me. Bottom line, OP, you're not the a-hole. Sorry that's not working out. Hopefully the kid's gonna be okay. Well, fellow rogues, that's it for this edition of A Wash of Static. I'll be back before you know it, probably within a week or so of this dropping. I want to thank you so much for A, making it to the end of this video, and B, for exploring my material at all. I have only been at this for a few months, and I gotta say I am so gratified and so humbled that as many of you have tuned in as what you have. I love this stuff, and I'm going to be continuing to do this for you as much as I possibly can. I mean, I won't lie, I want this to be my job. I want this to be this is the job I like. In the meantime, just remember, please, they do consider your minds bought and paid for. Do whatever you can to prove them wrong. I'm Gerodius Thane, and this has been A Wash of Static, signing off for now. Be good to each other in the meantime. I'm out. Well, my peeps, this is it for this.